The Justice Department has launched a civil rights inquiry after protesters disrupted a Sunday service at City's Church in St. Paul, Minnesota. Protesters accused church leaders of having ties to immigration and customs enforcement. Federal officials have characterized the disruption of the worship service as unlawful and a potential violation of the FACE Act. Joining me now is Washington Stand reporter Casey Harper, who's been tracking today's story. Casey, it appears this group of protesters that targeted this church says they did so because there's a connection with ICE. What's the alleged connection?
Yeah, that's right, Tony. As you said, these protesters interrupted services at this church and were chanting these anti-ICE slogans because allegedly one of the pastors there is a field officer with ICE in the region. And of course, these anti-ICE protests have been going on for weeks now with the surge of federal officers and the shooting there. Here's a clip from inside the church.
You're interfering with our worship. Hey, excuse me. Shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on you. This is the house of God, and we are worshiping. Shame on you. Shame on you.
Now, it's a pretty striking video, but just to be clear, that's Jonathan Parnell. He's the senior pastor. He's not the alleged, ICE-involved officer. But the DOJ, as you said they're investigating the disruption. As the investigation continues, AG Pam Bondi spoke yesterday with the pastor of that church and said she's personally involved in the investigation. But Tony, it just goes to show that tensions could not be higher right now in Minnesota, and that the church is now at the center of it.
Yeah, we're going to look at this a little bit further because I think we're seeing this escalation, not only of what's happening in Minnesota, but outright hostility toward the church. Now, how is the federal government responding to these political tensions in Minnesota as it escalates? I understand there could be active duty troops being deployed there.
Yeah, that's right. The Pentagon has given about 1,500 active duty soldiers in Alaska orders of prepare to deploy, though officials say no deployment decision has officially been made yet. Meanwhile, President Trump has threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act, which has not been used since the Rodney King riots. And Minnesota leaders are warning, they're pushing back, they're saying that sending in the military is only going to further escalate, which what we can see are already pretty tense protests, Tony.
All right, Casey, let's move on the international front. Iran's president is warning that any strike on the supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, would be an all-out war as tensions are rising following President Trump's call for new leadership. So what's the situation on the ground and this broader regional risk?
That's right. We've been waiting any moment for a potential strike coming straight out of the White House on Iran as they continue or have been killing in previous days protesters. As these protests have really spread nationwide, some reports estimate over 3,000 protesters have been killed, though we also have reports that Iran has, out of really fear of these Trump strikes, has stopped executing prisoners. Now, Iran is reportedly blaming the U.S. and Israel for the unrest, while the U.S. and Israel are reportedly preparing their own military options. Now, we know from inside Iran that economic pressure and oppression of the regime are really at the heart of the source of much of these protests. But Israeli forces are on high alert as the country assess potential escalations, which could come from the U.S. strikes, but also from potential military action that Iran might take. Tony, just another powder keg, this time across the world.
All right. Thanks so much, Casey.